Here's a gift for you. $2,000. After giving birth and moving back into my husband's family home, my mother-in-law handed me an envelope with $2,000 as a baby gift. I glanced at the contents and then tossed the envelope into the trash. Was this supposed to compensate for the endless belittling I had endured from her and the senior employees? What are you doing? Apologize to Mom, I scolded my flustered husband. Can you really look at this and not be angry? My husband, after seeing the envelope's contents, glared at his mother with a new intensity and made a decision. I'm Scarlett Wood, 28 years old. I had an arranged marriage with my husband, Elijah. He's 2 years older than me and the eldest son of a Japanese sweet shop raised with strict expectations as the heir. Despite this, he's incredibly kind and gentle. From the moment we met, his kindness drew me in. I wanted to share the beauty of Japanese sweets with the world, so I became a sweets artisan. Elijah proposed not with a ring but with a sweet crafted in my likeness, and it moved me to tears. He said, "When we marry, you'll join me as the young mistress of our shop and will live with my parents. Is that okay?" Living with his parents was a condition of our marriage. Despite the challenges that come with marrying in here, I agreed, trusting that with Elijah by my side, we could handle anything. We got married, and true to our agreement, we moved into the family home, which also housed the sweet shop. Scarlett, you're part of this family now, so you need to uphold our traditions. Behave as the young mistress should. Yes, I replied. From the moment I stepped into the family home, I was met with harsh criticism from my mother-in-law. The dream of a sweet married life seemed distant. Scarlett, how many times do I have to tell you? Learn our traditions and be aware of your role. It's difficult for our headmistress to have someone like you in the family. Daily criticism from my mother-in-law and the senior female employees became routine. My father-in-law was quiet, but his presence made me nervous, and I often made mistakes because of it. He would loudly lament, "There's no place for me to feel at ease in this house." Determined to prove myself and make Elijah proud, I persevered. Then I found out I was pregnant. Take care of yourself and give us a strong here. Everyone, including my mother-in-law, became more considerate of my condition. During a dinner at 5 months pregnant, I excitedly announced the baby's gender. Our baby is a girl. For a moment, there was silence. A girl? Oh, a girl, huh? No congratulations. Elijah kept his gaze down, avoiding eye contact. I was stunned by their reaction. Does a baby have to be a boy to be welcomed? I ate my meal in frustration, unable to grasp the Wood family's mindset. The next day, the attitude shifted. Pregnancy isn't an illness. Stop being spoiled and work hard. Once it was known that the baby was a girl, the criticism and harsh treatment from my mother-in-law and the senior employees returned. Why can't a girl inherit the sweet shop? I felt heartbroken for my unborn child who wouldn't be welcomed with joy. I resolved to protect her no matter what. Elijah, you must have noticed how I've been criticized every day since marrying into this family. The treatment has become unbearable since they learned our child is a girl. One day, overwhelmed, I confided in Elijah. He looked distressed. Scarlett, I'm sorry. I'm still in training and can't oppose the family. Please endure it. If you master your role quickly, I'm sure the criticism will lessen. I'm happy no matter if our baby is a boy or a girl. Please take care of yourself. Elijah quickly retreated to the bath. Although he tried to be considerate, I felt disappointed by his lack of support. But as I rubbed my belly, I reminded myself that I needed to be strong for my child. I resolved to endure the mistreatment and criticism, focusing on the day when my baby would be born healthy and happy. In my in-laws' home, I was primarily responsible for cooking dinner. When I bought groceries, I'd pay for them first and then submit the receipt to my mother-in-law for reimbursement. This system made it difficult to buy the things I wanted, as she scrutinized every receipt meticulously. Because of this, indulging in my cravings was almost impossible. However, during my pregnancy, my cravings for sour and sweet foods became overwhelming. Should I buy it? But I don't want my mother-in-law to make snide remarks again. I debated this while shopping but never had the courage to purchase anything outside of necessity. One day, my craving for something sweet became unbearable. Feeling desperate, I finally turned to Elijah, who was working in the shop. "Oh, I'm craving sweets so much because of the pregnancy. Can I have some leftovers if there are any?" I asked him. "Sure, just wait a moment." Elijah secretly wrapped up some leftover scraps from the sweets making process, careful to keep it hidden from the other employees. "Thank you," I said, but just then, my mother-in-law appeared. "What are you doing here, Scarlett?" Her eyes fell on the scraps in my hand. "How shameless. This is the workshop for the artisans. You're not allowed to come in here anymore." She grabbed the scraps from me and kicked me out of the workshop. One day, while preparing dinner, I opened the fridge to find it stocked with high-end ingredients like luxurious Wagyu beef, items I had never seen before. Since I needed my mother-in-law's permission to use the fridge's contents, I asked her, "Can I use the food in the fridge?" "What are you talking about? That's for Natalie, who's coming back the day after tomorrow. Don't you dare use it." Her tone was cold. Natalie is Elijah's sister, who married into a farming family and is now 3 months pregnant with morning sickness. She's apparently coming home early, and I'm left feeling abandoned. I'm 7 months pregnant and have been enduring harsh treatment, being told that pregnancy isn't an illness. Overwhelmed by my situation, I decide to focus on preparing dinner with the remaining ingredients. On the day Natalie returns, my mother-in-law is unusually cheerful. She had initially opposed Natalie's marriage and seems thrilled to have her back after so long. "I'll cook dinner tonight, Scarlett, so you can take a leisurely walk." Her unexpected kindness catches me off guard. I seize the opportunity to enjoy the evening. The sky is so high. The sky, painted in hues of red, warmly embraces me as I feel the baby move inside me. "Mommy will work hard for you, so come out healthy and strong," I whisper to my unborn child. When I return home, I'm greeted by the tantalizing aroma of grilled steak. As I approach the living room, I overhear voices coming from inside. "Natalie, eat well for the sake of your baby." Peeking inside, I see my mother-in-law has prepared a spread of dishes for Natalie at the table. My father-in-law and Elijah are quietly eating steak. "What about Scarlett's portion?" Elijah's question catches my attention, and our eyes meet. "Oh, don't worry. I made some stew for her," my mother-in-law replies. Elijah, avoiding my gaze, says nothing more. I realize there's no steak for me. Unable to bear it any longer, I quietly retreat to our bedroom, trying to avoid drawing attention. Despite being pregnant like Natalie, I'm left feeling excluded. Tears flow uncontrollably as I think, why do I have to suffer like this? Neither my unborn child nor I am welcomed here. I just want to leave. My tears continue to fall. After a while, Elijah enters with a cold piece of steak. "I brought you my portion," he says, looking genuinely remorseful. "I'm sorry it's cold, and I'm sorry for making you feel worse with my sister here. I should be more assertive, but I struggle with my mom and sister. My mom had issues with my grandma, so she probably thinks this is normal for a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship. My sister resented me growing up because I was the eldest son and received a lot of attention. She's always been unkind to me behind my back. They're both strong-willed and difficult, so honestly, I don't want to deal with them." "Your family issues have nothing to do with me," I respond. Even though he apologized, I realize that he won't necessarily protect me or our child in the future. Feeling even more despondent because of Elijah's unreliability, I eat the steak he brought, though I have little appetite, thinking of the baby growing inside me. Despite being high-quality meat, I can't taste it. I chew mechanically and manage to swallow it. Life becomes even more challenging after Natalie's return. "Scarlett, could you get this for me?" My mother-in-law orders, not hesitating to make me work despite my growing belly. "Natalie, you should rest until your morning sickness subsides." Meanwhile, Natalie enjoys being pampered by her parents and lounges around the house all day. Even though my belly is much larger, the situation is frustrating. For now, I have to endure quietly. "Scarlett, I brought some pudding for you." Elijah's quiet act of buying me food I craved, despite the harsh treatment I was receiving, was a small comfort. One day, I noticed Natalie's room was filled with high-end branded baby products and maternity items. I had only managed to buy everything from a cheap store on the outskirts of town. Both our children were to be grandchildren in the same family, so why such a stark difference? I tried not to let it get to me, but the disparity left me feeling very sad. On December 20th, I gave birth to a baby girl. Elijah's tears of joy were a rare and heartfelt sight. "I'll grow up quickly and protect both you and our child," he promised me with sincerity. When we returned to my in-laws' house after being discharged from a hospital, my mother-in-law surprisingly welcomed us with a smile. "Let me hold her for a bit," she said. I handed the baby to her, and as expected, she handled her with ease, likely due to her experience raising two children of her own. It seemed she truly cared for her grandchild. I felt a small sense of relief seeing her gentle demeanor. After a while, she returned the baby to me and pulled an envelope from her pocket to give to Elijah. "Here's a gift, $2,000. "What? That much?" I was taken aback, but Elijah didn't seem particularly surprised. Perhaps it was normal for this family to give such a large amount as a gift. Elijah handed the envelope to me without checking the contents, so I placed the baby in the crib before opening it. My eyes widened in shock. "What is this?" My mother-in-law looked away, smirking. "Enough already." I threw the envelope into the trash. "Hey, what are you doing?" "Apologize to my mom." Elijah's voice was urgent. "Would you react the same way if you saw this?" I retrieved the discarded envelope and showed Elijah its contents. Instead of the $2,000, it contained a bundle of receipts and invoices for luxury food and maternity items meant for Natalie. "What's the meaning of this, Mom?" Elijah's voice was raised now. "It's only natural for the eldest son's family to cover our household expenses," my mother-in-law retorted shamelessly. "Why should we pay for the maternity items and baby gear for Natalie, who married into our family?" I could no longer stay silent. I resolved to leave this house with my child. At that moment, Elijah's voice cut through the tension. "I'm leaving this house." "What?" The room fell silent as everyone, including me, stared at Elijah. He glared at his mother with an intensity I had never seen before. "What do you think we are?" "The way you've treated Scarlett, your reaction when you found out our child is a girl, and your constant interference with the shop I'm in charge of. I've tolerated it as the eldest son, hoping to protect the shop until I could prove my capability. But I've reached my limit. Our family is leaving this house. I won't be taking over the shop." "Thank you for everything," Elijah said, bowing deeply to his parents. My in-laws were left speechless and eventually exited the room in silence. "Scarlett, I'm truly sorry for everything. I'll protect you and our child. I decided to leave this house on my own. Will you stay by my side?" Elijah's face softened back to its usual gentle expression. "Yes, thank you for standing up for us. Let's face any challenges together as a family of three." The next day, Elijah began searching for a new home. A week later, we moved into a small 2DK apartment, which, despite its size, was a warm and comforting space for us. "Make sure you eat well and rest whenever you can," Elijah reminded me. To my surprise, our new home was only a 5-minute walk from my parents' house. Elijah is truly a remarkable person. It's rare for someone to admit their weaknesses and seek help as an adult. According to my mother, he had explained everything to her and apologized the night he decided to leave, asking for their support moving forward. "You can always rely on us. We're so happy you're close by," my mother said, and I was moved to tears by her kindness. Elijah occasionally receives messages from his mother asking to see their grandchild, but he only sends pictures. After discussing it together, we decided to maintain our distance from his parents for a while and didn't share our new address. Thanks to that decision, we were able to enjoy peaceful and happy days. "Scarlett, we're running out of diapers. I'll go buy some." Elijah actively helped with housework and childcare, and we cherish our modest happiness, living humbly each day. I began to think about starting my own business someday. Despite the path to inheriting his family's business being closed off, Elijah remained passionate about Japanese sweets. Since childhood, Elijah had been fascinated by traditional Japanese sweets. His dream of sharing their beauty and delicate taste with people worldwide, which he had shared with me before our marriage, remained alive in his heart. To make this dream come true, he decided to start an online store for Japanese sweets. I was inspired by his determination and wanted to support him. With the experience I'd gained from briefly working with Japanese sweets at my in-laws' house, I began brainstorming ideas while juggling housework and childcare. One day, I showed our child the Japanese sweets Elijah had made. Although our baby couldn't eat them yet, they seemed captivated by the gentle colors. Seeing their excitement sparked an idea in my mind. What if we create Japanese sweets that babies can eat? The image of adorable baby smiles and Japanese sweets merged in my mind. When I shared the idea with Elijah, he enthusiastically agreed. We set out to develop sweets using natural ingredients like sweet potatoes for sweetness, avoiding artificial coloring, and ensuring they were suitable for babies. After 3 months of development, we created the product we envisioned. We initially placed our sweets in a friend's Japanese sweet shop and received overwhelmingly positive feedback. Customers praised them as perfect for first meals and birthday parties. Encouraged by this response, we launched our sweets online, and they quickly became a sensation. The media picked up our story, and our company steadily grew. By the time our daughter turned 2, our business had stabilized, allowing us some breathing room. I suddenly thought of Elijah's family, whom we hadn't spoken to in almost 2 years. I had heard that Natalie, who had developed preeclampsia during her pregnancy and had been hospitalized, had to endure strict bed rest and dietary restrictions. Fortunately, she gave birth to a healthy baby boy. Unfortunately, the family's Japanese sweets shop had closed down after Elijah left. What happened to your parents after they closed the shop? I asked Elijah. He explained that they were living modestly on their pension. Although we didn't have many fond memories of them, they were still Elijah's parents. After discussing it, we decided to send them $2,000 as a birthday present, the same amount his mother had given us as a childbirth gift. We hoped that if his mother remembered, it might prompt some reflection. We received a message confirming that the money had arrived and that his parents were very happy. Though we weren't ready to visit them yet, we believed that time would heal old wounds. As long as we lived with pride, things would eventually improve. Childcare remained a challenge, but with my parents' support, I could focus on Japanese sweets with Elijah. "Mom, is this my candy?" my daughter asked, her eyes wide with anticipation. "Yes, Jerry. The cherry blossom petals are beautiful, aren't they? Do you like it?" "Delicious," she exclaimed, her face lighting up with joy. We had created a Japanese sweet designed for 1-year-olds, shaped like cherry blossoms and named after our daughter, Cherry. I hoped this sweet, like our child, would bring smiles to everyone's faces. "Mom, here. Open wide." My daughter fed me a piece of the sweet. The gentle sweetness melted in my mouth, and I cherished this moment. "Mom, I hope this blissful moment with Japanese sweets reaches people all around the world."